Ladies and gentlemen, strap in for another classic Patreon chat. I am John
Fucking
Trouser.
shit.
Whoa, Dylan, swearing.
Pussy.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Anus.
whoa! Oh my God! I gotta tell you, you know what I enjoy is using parts of the body that are like typical insult adjacent. Aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You're a real butt cheek. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that actually seems nice. I don't think I've ever seen it. If you're saying a butthole, it's like, whoa. I've never seen a butt cheek and been like, this is a bad day. Usually, if I see someone's butt cheek, it's either funny or sexy.
Yeah, but no, but it's but if you can, you look like a butt cheek. Whoa,
Nope.
such weird, hurtful pimples. What about this? You look like a ball. You look like ball sack skin.
Ball sack skin. Ball sack skin's good.
It's so stretchy. Um,
It's stretchy. It's what it's all about. John, did you know this? Did you know I've been my child's sick again, so I'm watching Blippi. Have you ever seen a picture of Blippi?
I have never seen a picture of Blippi. I got to tell
Look
you,
up. I'm in the world of children's entertainers
I
now,
was
and let me
about.
tell
I'm
you
so
this:
happy to hear about this because I love a little visit into
it's crazy.
children's entertainment because I always find it's a weird reflection of the decade just gone past. You know what I mean?
Every children's entertainer looks like someone you had sex with once who was polyamorous. Every single one of them looks like they're just just a dumpster for
Oh
content.
my God, I don't like Blippi at all.
Blippi, if you do not have children, Blippi is, if you've ever been to the Edinburgh Fringe, it's one of the people on the side of the street. It's just a guy who, like, fucking hit pay dirt. Literally looks like a guy who's, like, in an open relationship, but, like, she doesn't get to fuck other dudes. She just gets to mess around with girls. And he knows a couple songs on guitar. He really looks like a fucking.
Oh, okay,
He
but
looks like a
here,
lot of assholes I've met.
you
Maybe
know
a
who this?
manager at a
Okay,
really fancy coffee shop who gets
I'm going to
real
be
picky
so
about your
specific.
latte
I'm
art.
going to be so
Okay.
specific with. Also, I want to let you know, my girlfriend heard us discussing Blippi, and for the first
Mm.
time in the history of the Wrestle Review, texted me specifically to say Blippi is almost certainly a pervert, in my opinion.
This is the thing. Blippi 100% looks like a guy who fucked somebody and didn't call them back.
Oh, 100%.
Genderless.
Okay, here's who Blippi looks like specifically. This is going to
Hmm.
be a real inside
Everyone just
wrestler
take some
review.
time to like get up a picture of Blippi on your phone if
Do
you have
you
it on.
remember when we used to hang out at the two pot shows on Thursdays in Toronto in the early 2010s,
Yes.
Hotbox and Clandestiny?
Yes. Yes.
Blippi looks like one of the people that would be a dickhead staff member at Hotbox Cafe. Like the
Yeah.
kind of guy that you just stood there and he's like, "Can you get out of the way?" And you're like, "I'm not in your way." And he's like, "Ugh, comics." And you're like, "You've just decided that we're shitheads, even though we are
Dude,
actually helping your business, you fucking pothead. Now give me some weed. Give it to me."
there were some good things about pre-legalization Canada, but the Hot Box Cafe officially closed now. I
Oh,
might
is that
add.
true? Oh, that bums me out. You know what I really liked about the Hotbox Cafe? A great patio just for sitting.
It did, and it was just like I remember being there as a high school kid, being like, "Whoa, Hot Box Cafe," and then it's just like a bunch of sad guys smoking joints in the
Oh my
middle of the
God, yeah.
day, and you're like, "I guess this is how this plays out, isn't it?"
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Like you're just like a fucking guy who just says he's an artist who hasn't painted anything in years.
I miss Kensington Market so much because it's gone, which was Kensington Market had this very strong chamber of commerce. So you couldn't get box stores in it. So it was all ma and pa stores
Mm-hmm.
that were then in buildings that they either were owned or were owned by old crazy Portuguese men who did not want to raise the rent, but also didn't want to fix anything. So it was like this great neighborhood that was sort of like everything was just crazy. You had to have two grocery stores because they were both owned by warring brothers and they wouldn't have certain things one grocery store had the other one didn't have because they wouldn't use the same suppliers. So one of the grocery stores had no milk and the other grocery store had no frozen things. It was the best neighborhood ever. I fucking miss it so much and it is gone now, but it was filled with people that looked like Blippi. For example, a favorite time I was walking by Ronnie's local 69er,
Oh.
and I remember a guy legitimately said, as I was walking by, I just remember her, "Hey, give me back my beret."
Yeah, it
uh,
was a lot of like people who well, it's still like that. It's like
Here's
I
what it
remember
is.
I did a
Here's
show
what it
in
is. Here's what
Kensington,
it
and I
is.
came from a corporate, and I was wearing a suit, and everyone just looked at me like, "That's the guy. That's the guy who's building the condos." And I
Yeah,
just kept
exactly.
wanting to go into bars and being like, "You got a week, or I'm shutting it down."
I really wish, man, the '80s movies really taught us that
Oh yeah, you could
if
shut
you
down a beach.
you could shut down a beach, and also one concert will turn a business around.
That was honestly, they're missing that where it's like, and honestly, the 2022 version of that is
If you guys,
instead
by the
of
way,
like, oh, we got to put on a concert, it's oh, we just went viral.
that's true. Also,
It's
so
just like every single thing.
it's the most dangerous thing that can happen is a 40-year-old finds out a piece of youth culture because they're going to be like, well, if I put that in enough TV shows, one of them will have to suck my dick. That's like, yeah.
They'll know I'm going through something. My name's Blippi.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, can I say this also about Blippi? Does he sing? What does he do?
Blippi has the most dope job in the world, which seems to be like he goes to different businesses and just shows how cool that business is.
I'm going to say this right now.
It's like the opposite of Nathan Fielder's show. It's he goes in, he goes, here's a play place, and there was one where he was like, here's a play place in Las Vegas, and I was like, I don't want my kid fucking doing coke down a slide. Why the fuck are you showing me anything in Las Vegas?
Get the fuck out of
Las Vegas is a fucking shithole.
Yeah, this little lady's like your mummy, but only people that didn't come out of her suck on her boobies.
Where it's like, if you're fun, you can have fun anywhere, and Las Vegas is where boring people go to have fun.
Okay, let me
like,
let me talk about my Las Vegas experience. So
Sure.
earlier in this year, one of my closest friends was murdered by death. He was killed or died, and immediately after that funeral, I had to go to Las Vegas. And let me tell you, what's great about being when you are in a like crippling depression and being in Las Vegas is you feel fine. Like you feel like it's a place where you're like, I'm accepted here. Like you just walk into any casino and you're like, I feel like these 8 guys, and you just sit with them.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like you have so many mourning tools. You can gamble, you can buy prostitutes, you can get any drug you want, you can just pay someone to punch them in the face.
Here's the best part about Las Vegas is just like unfettered America, so everything is so big. Like I went to a weed dispensary called Planet X, and what I remember is that each of it was like a big room for different things, and I just remember one of them was the Shatter Zone, and I was like, weed has come so far that weed has now got an MMA element to it. You know what I mean? Like weed has.
Hey, do you want to do weed but sort of crack? Here's Shatter.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to do weed, but you want to make sure everyone knows that you were pro Vietnam War? Here is Shatter, baby.
Yeah, Shatter is just like, hey, do you want to? Yeah, you want to smoke a bit of weed, but you know how weed isn't really addictive, and you have just like a nice, okay time. That element is gone now. You are gonna get a divorce after this.
Yeah, exactly. Also, best part of that entire Vegas trip, I was full crying in the parking lot smoking weed, and a black guy, real angry at me, walked up and was just so like clearly frustrated by his shitty Vegas trip, and was just like, "Are you fucking telling me?" I was wondering if that's just like, "Fucking, you can just smoke." Like clearly, like fucking white privilege. You can just smoke weed on the sidewalk, and I was just like, weed is legal in Vegas, bro." I remember saying, and his eyes, he was just like, "Are you fucking kidding?" And I was like, and I literally pointed down the road, and he's like, "Give me a thumbs up." Ran down the street, and then he came back and showed me the weed he bought, and then he left. It was great. That's
great.
That literally is there's 2 bright spots of that Vegas trip besides listening to really intense podcasts about the far right in the parking lot and smoking weed. That's one of the memories. The other memory is on the last night, one of the other comedians brought a lady to the show.
Ooh.
And I said, I'm Canadian.
Or was it mom?
It was both. It was a lady that he knew from Boston back in like the 80s that he was seeing for the first time in 25 years. And she has done some living. Anyway,
that's good stuff.
She walked in and she went, and he was like, "This is John, nice guy." Yeah, and he went, "You'd think he's from Boston, but he's actually Canadian." And she just went, "Canadian? I hear your prime minister is a pedophile." And I was just like, and I just went,
fucking dope.
And then I went, "Are you a QAnon, huh?" And she just went, "Where we go one, where we go all." And I just looked at the other comedian and gave him like the big eyes, and he was just looking at me like, oh no,
That's so
no,
funny.
no.
Then you gotta have like a fucking whole weekend with this person. It was
the Sunday night. It was just the last night, and last I saw them, they were walking together through the parking lot. yo. I think you got to squeeze her in her car. I think you got to.
Jeez. Las Vegas was the only place I've seen. I went to a pharmacy, and the pharmacy was massive
That's
and
the
equal parts normal pharmacy and hey, you have diabetes. Like
yeah.
it was like here's some compression socks, here's all this shit for blood flow, here's some walkers, and just hey, oh what, you regularly moisturize your skin? Well, there's one of those. You can all fight over it. You can squeeze, each
Yeah.
get a squeeze, but
I want
we
you to
we only
know,
have
by the
one
way,
of regular moisturizer.
I still have those shorts that I bought on a whim that I sent you
Ooh.
that say like just fuck my ass or whatever. The way
Mhm.
we will be, by the way, when I am in Canada in November, we will be donning those shorts and forcing someone to take a photo of us with them, and all members of the Patreon will get that photo.
Calendar, prison calendar. Why not? One picture, just every
One
day.
picture, one picture for the whole year. Every year, same picture. That's so mean. We're doing that. Uh,
I
Dylan.
think I wanted to talk about this. I think we missed out on having COVID hustles. I think we joked about it on.
I completely agree. I think that the wrestling journalistic community, which we are a part of, we are the Woodward and Bernstein. Emphasis on the wood and the burn, because we're here to burn down your conventions and then make you hard like wood.
I guess I don't mean like COVID, like hustles, like I picked up an extra job and I actually liked it, so maybe I'll do this full
No,
time.
no,
I'm
no. I
talking
mean,
about like scams.
yeah, no, I mean completely. I think that we really, but I think wrestling, all of the wrestling, like I don't know, think weirdly, can't think of any wrestling podcast that didn't involve like Braun Strowman that weren't like, and send me $80 and I'll send you some silver tablets that will cure your COVID. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that I'm sort
Yeah.
of impressed with the wrestling world, that we were like, listen, oh sure, we believe that these two guys from Rancho Cucamonga are the strongest kickers in the biz because they have jackets, but the vaccine works.
Yeah, it's very interesting that like maybe we're just in a part of Twitter where it's mostly just like normal like dadless wrestling fans, but
Wait a
like
minute, maybe you are. I am not in that part of Twitter, but I'm just
what
saying the
part are you on?
wrestling. Oh, I'm in mostly at this point. I'm in a lot of Irish Twitter, and with a
Okay.
if you get in, so it was from when during the Friends reunion, the actor who played Joey Tribbiani really looked like an Irish
Matt
dad.
LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc really looked like an Irish dad.
Yes.
And I did some following, and it really messed up my algorithm. Part of the problem is my Twitter algorithm is all fucked up because in 2019 I got turned down for representation by
Mhm.
a manager in LA, and I just had a little freak out and then unfollowed everyone on all
Which
social
takes
media.
so long.
On also, it doesn't take that long if you're in the middle of nowhere, Australia, just in a van
But it's
for
just
8
so much
hours.
clicking. Yeah, 8 hours, man. Just unfollow, unfollow,
Took,
unfollow.
took about 40 minutes. Felt great. Felt great. A couple of friends of mine, two people told me it's the end of my career, which I was like, I don't think it is. But thanks.
Yeah, it's probably just a weird thing.
Just a weird thing I did, and then I have to just reset the whole Twitter algorithm. But it just means that whenever like I like a bunch of things, my entire Twitter timeline shifts completely because they're like, "What's this guy up to? He's
So
a wild X Factor."
yeah, I started on Facebook Reels. Like I started posting on Facebook Reels, and Facebook has no idea who I am. Like they have no information on me, so they're just throwing shit at the wall. My Facebook suggested Reels, which is like their ripoff of TikTok, is running. They think I'm really into running. For
You
some
are.
reason, they think I'm a huge
Uh,
New York Yankees fan,
well, I
and
can.
they think I'm a militant socialist.
Okay, well, a couple of things that are true. That the reason why those is one, you love running from
Mm-hmm.
responsibility.
That's good stuff.
Two, you love A Rod. I remember when A
Mm-hmm.
Rod
A
did
rod in
that.
my butt.
Exactly. You were always like, you know what I like about A Rod? Sounds like his nickname is
Mm.
Boner.
The
And I
centaur
like
picture he has is good.
is the best. Also, the fact that all of his apartments are always all white. He likes it clean.
Also, the most frustrating thing is when he was on Shark Tank and they were like, "Oh, here's how Alex Rodriguez got his money," and they talked about his investments. I'm like, "You're not going to mention the fact that he was like one of the best baseball players ever, then plus steroids?"
Yeah, that's the thing that's so funny about Shark Tank. But Shark Tank, I remember when Jeff Foxworthy was one of the sharks,
That's really funny.
and they did not mention his comedy career. He's one of the most dynamic investors in the South. They always kept referencing the South, and I was just like, what does that mean? Does that mean he owns? I think he still owns slaves. Ah,
Yeah.
you might be a redneck
Get
if you
plantations back up and running.
yeah,
God damn it!
you might be a redneck if you don't believe that plantations are good or whatever. I don't know. Give me money. I'm Jeff Foxworthy.
Who do you know that fell for, because I'm just looking up COVID frauds and scams, and it's like, remember when frauds were like, you had to go to someone's house and you had to sell them a bunch of knives, and then they sell the knives, and now it's literally like I get a text message that just says, "Hey, I gave you money. Click this link." I'm like, what, you fucking idiot.
Here was the most specific part of COVID panic that no one will talk about because it was not nearly as sexy as the anti-vax and all that, but was the amount of people that when COVID started that were in America, that were Canadian, that were going home, and like what they were saying was going to happen. Like I got some panicky text messages from people that were like, if you stay in America, they will never let you back into Canada. And I remember being like, that is not true. This is the Canadian government. I will bully a Canadian customs agent. I've done it before. I'll do it again. They are not strong people. They're not good people. Attention, all Canadian border agents.
They don't want to do their job.
You do not. They do not want. There's nothing more irritating than a Canadian person not wanting to do their job because they're already so passive aggressive and have a chip on their shoulder, and also now they have some power that they don't want, so they're just dicks, and you can just be like, get out of the way, get out of the way.
Ooh, that's the one of them now.
Oh no, Dylan! It's a border agent coming for me.
Yeah, they do out calls now. Get the fuck back in our country, bitch.
Yeah, come here. Okay, but that was one COVID grift that really annoyed me. Was everyone just being like, "Let me tell you what's going to happen with the border." Another one, you know, the things I miss. Like, do you remember when Pornhub was just like premium subscriptions free for everyone? Get jacking. It was just like,
that's who, like, maybe other than Twitter, I'd say Pornhub Premium and Twitter Blue are number 1 and 2 as far as like who needs this.
Yeah, like who's looking for this?
Who's not getting enough Twitter that they need to pay for Twitter? And
I gotta tell you,
not getting enough from like a 6-minute video. They're like, I just gotta watch this reverse cowgirl for a full 15.
I want to see how long this actually goes on for.
Yeah, I want to see them doing missionary and then awkwardly switching positions while like clearly it's a choreographed dance, but also they're trying to still be in the scene. I want to see that part. It's like probably from start to finish. If you really put your mind to it, everyone, if it's your first one of the day, you can fucking drop slop in about 3 minutes. You know what I mean?
3 minutes.
Saying, if you got something to do, you're gonna have 3 minutes.
Of course, someone clearly just spent time in a hotel in Ottawa. That if you got your jack timings back.
Yeah, I was like, 3.
We can do it. What I have to say is I'm also impressed that a lot of old wrestlers, I'm sure, have some crazy thoughts about COVID, but none of them really got into that machine. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have, like we're all.
There's a media now. I think that's another problem with wrestling now is there's a media. So
there certainly is.
The media. Kanye Gott's about to start talking. No, but the media obviously like just makes like here's what. Here's kind of like groupthink what the media believes.
The
media especially the wrestling media is 100% all like middle class white guys. Like no one is in the wrestling media who doesn't have full confidence that they can just fucking get a job at their uncle's place.
You're also not in a media if you don't leave your parents' basement and all you do is text the wrestlers.
They all have, a lot of them have houses. I will say that, which is crazy because, like, obviously they do. Because, like, the parents' basement. It's like, no, this is like Twitch. Like, people have so much fucking money.
It's crazy. The one thing I will say,
I think the new parents' basement is ignoring your family.
That's what it is.
It's like a lot of people ignoring their family, but like, you just don't understand. I need to be on Twitch for the 6 hours that I'm homebody because then the kids will learn about multiple incomes, and also I don't want to change a diaper ever.
Yeah, the thing you need to understand me is this streaming. It's either this or I cheat on you. Do you want me to cheat on you or do you want me to Twitch? What do you decide?
Either this or the kids know my middle name. You make a choice.
Yeah, it's either this or I start sharing my views with the kids. That's right.
You better keep me in this fucking room. I'll tell you that.
Can we talk about Dave Meltzer's fucking meltdown about how Tony Khan hasn't come forward and talked about the fight? Have you seen this? This is one of the most irritatingly loserish things.
Go on his Twitter. I don't know.
Oh,
Can you find it? There's so many tweets.
there's so many tweets. I'm not going to try and find it, but basically
I'll try and find it.
he's come out on podcasts and stuff like that and talked about how Tony Khan needs to come out and actually address what's happening with this investigation and that sort of stuff. And it just comes across of like, my friend Tony won't tell me his secret, and I want to know his secret, and it's not fear. I need my newsletter to be better, because Fightful has better sources inside AEW than Dave does.
Yeah,
Clearly.
it seems like Fightful has taken over.
Which is Fightful clearly is someone's leaking directly to Fightful that's not leaking to Dave. That's what it is. And he just can't handle it. And it's a very fascinating moment in that, like, what do you think the chances of AEW going away are? I think that they're incredibly small. But I think that, like, I don't think that they are going to recover from this in the way that I think other people are expecting. I think that this is really going to hit them, and it's bad. You know what I mean?
I think so. I'm just trying to. Dutch Mantel and Dave Meltzer burying Tony Khan. Oh, Dutch Mantel's the best. I watch those.
Oh, it's great. That podcast is so listenable. It is a return to what I want from wrestling podcasts, which is like, not only is he out of touch, he doesn't touch people. You know what he does? He just spouts off from the hip refuses to buy a microphone even though his podcast is successful, refuses to put a camera in a chair, just his phone on the ground like this, Dylan.
Dave Meltzer buries Tony Khan for CM Punk, the Elite. When was this, though? This is peak podcast where you look up something on the podcast and stop it to a halt. This is October 20th, so it was 5 days ago. Okay.
Yeah, like it's been sizzling. Jim Cornette has, of course, popped off. Like, it's just very funny that it's like, Dave, fuck me, man. You're coming across like a loser.
Well, yeah, he's not worried about that. He was very open about being a wrestling fan in the 90s.
That's true.
It's like, being a wrestling fan in the 90s, I've been trying to come up with an analogy. It's like, for me at least, being a wrestler, it's like sort of having a weird sexual fetish. Not one of the weird ones, but like it's like being in defeat openly. Like that's what being an open wrestling
exactly
fan is.
what I was going to say. Like, being an open wrestling fan is like you were rooting for Trump to be the president in the 90s. Like, you're just like, wait, what? And it's like, he's going to do it, and it's like, it's going to do it, and you're like, that's fucking crazy. But then at a certain point, like, you have to. It's like when people find out wrestling is a multi-billion-dollar industry, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, and it's like, I think wrestling is so instructive because it's like this little microcosm of what the entire world is now, where no one has any fucking idea what is happening. And then you just discover all this money seemingly under a rock, and you don't understand the people that are buying it. You don't understand anything.
My personal favorite is people that get very upset that people like wrestling. That is my personal favorite reaction to wrestling fans. Why do you like this? I don't like this. I don't like you know what I mean? Though we have two of those friends that do not like that get upset when people like wrestling. It's my favorite. It's my absolute favorite. Why do you like this?
Yeah, I mean,
why? Like,
dude.
all right.
I hate that fucking look your nose down at something that is silly. It's like, yeah, well, I don't know, man. Like, you've paid for shit that's just as dumb as wrestling. You just have that fucking blind spot of, like, you never saw this early enough in life. Like,
yeah,
it's like, I truly believe wrestling is a lot like religion. You have to get started when you're a kid, otherwise there's, like, makes no sense.
That's not true, though, because I know what's weird is only in America have I met
wrestling
people
will save you.
That I'm like, I was 33, I was flicking channels, and I saw a gentleman in a bulletproof vest tell me that he was the head of the table, and I thought, you know what, this is for me.
Yeah, but that's the same thing as people becoming alcoholics and being like, well, I never thought there was a God before, but I really don't want to have a beer again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I do also. You know who my favorite are? People that start smoking in their 30s. That's my favorite. Like,
that's crazy.
Oh my God, what are you doing, bro? You are clean. You doing?
Just like, hey, my body can't recover from this anymore. Time to really fuck everything up.
Yeah, I didn't know that your mouth had so many different tastes that were bad that you could create, but here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you start smoking in your teens or your 20s, your body can fully recover. You start in your 30s, it's like, no, I want to do permanent damage fast. And I have no other, like, ideas of how to kill myself.
Yeah. Listen, my goal is to get a heart attack. I want a heart attack.
I want to speed my heart up till it explodes.
Yeah. Oh, don't fuck with me, bro.
I want to talk a bit about
Blippi some
Hangman's
more.
injury. I want to talk
Oh
about if Hangman
yeah,
can become Blippi. I watched that and I was like, oh, this is a normal clothesline, and then he's
yeah.
just like dead now.
Here's the problem with social media is they needed someone to slow it down like the ECW did with
Sabu.
Sabu's neck break and be like, here's the part that's bad. Because I
Mm-hmm.
like watched it too and I was like, Hangman Page knows how to work. Jim Cornette's going to be impressed. You know what I mean? Like that's what I like. All I thought was like, ooh, someone didn't sleep during those one or two tryouts at old NXT. Adam Page. You know what I mean? And then suddenly it turns out he he's a little fucking bitch. You can't fucking handle it.
Yeah, you got a bad neck and you're a pussy. That's what it just
Oh
sounds like.
yeah. You know what would happen if I took a clothesline? Nothing, because I
What would
wouldn't have
happen?
done that. I wouldn't have
Nothing
taken it.
would have happened.
Wouldn't have taken it.
And yeah, of course, Adam Page's injury. I mean, this is kind of, I think, what Adam Page needs. Although it's like been really disjointed after he lost the title because he did that big comeback. Obviously, the CM Punk stuff where it's like, say what you will about the other people in the elite, he is another guy who got like, forgive the pun, punked off by Come Master Punk, and he didn't try and fight him or anything. He just kind of took it, and he hasn't addressed it at all. He's also the guy who seemingly, I guess, in CM Punk's mind, started this whole thing.
Can I just say that we've talked a lot about the CM Punk situation,
I
but
mean,
here's
that's what's more fun to talk about than like
completely
the last true carny in professional wrestling.
couldn't agree more. Here's the thing that I've realized about CM Punk is all that CM Punk needs is, and this is Dylan Gott, because Dylan Gott, you know what Dylan Gott has? Dylan Gott's got a long fuse, but when Dylan Gott's ready to go, he will turn to you and be like, "I'll fucking kill you." Like what CM Punk
You mean
needed,
it's yeah, he snaps. He has a short fuse though, clearly.
he has a short fuse. What he just needed was one person to go, "We're not yelling, we're not screaming. If you behave like how I think you're about to behave, I'll fucking kill your ugly shitty dog, and I'll burn your fucking house. Like, oh, you think you're a fucking tough guy? I will take your 4 million fucking billion zillion dollars or whatever you have in the fucking bank account. I wipe my ass with it. I don't care. Do you want to know what I am? I'm a wrestling producer, and my name is Arn Anderson. I live in a 2-bedroom house. I do not know my wife's name, and I hate my kids. I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like, and Arn Anderson would be like, we need to handle this situation. They looked at Arn and he went, I'm gonna go get a cooler and a gun. And they're like, what are you gonna do with the gun? And he's gonna like, I gotta be hard. And I put the gun in my mouth so I get hard. Do you want me to explain to you how I'll fix this problem, or do you want me to fix the problem?
That is true. Old school wrestling, CM Punk would have just got pistol whipped.
Yeah, exactly.
Like no one would have used the gun. Like in wrestling, a lot of guys just had guns, but they would have just like beaten you with the end of the gun really badly.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like there would have been like if old school wrestling like legit. And I hate being this guy. Who,
okay,
like,
here's what it would have been. Here's exactly
the past. Yeah.
No, here's what it would have been. It would have been like, we got to take care of this Punk guy, and someone would have taken a gun out of their bag, and they were like, "Well," and then he would have shown the handle, and they're like, "Of course," like you know what I mean? Like,
oh, and then extendo to the back of the head.
Exactly. Of course,
and then just like heavy, hard, bad concussion. I mean, like legit, like it's just like you would have been beaten with weapons.
Yeah, this is the crazy thing about wrestling was so much more professional when the punishment was Bill Watts beat the shit out of you with a pistol.
It was, you see, a guy like CM Punk never does that, and I guarantee maybe he started to do that in WWE backstage, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like there's just stuff in place that if you do that, you get fucking annihilated.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know, or maybe that's not true, but like here's something that was said about that press conference a million fucking years ago that is definitely true. Whatever the situation is, it's very, very clear that CM Punk felt comfortable being that unprofessional in front of his boss.
Yeah, of course he did.
Like he felt like, oh, I can just say this fucking buck wild shit about the people that technically are directly under this guy, technically.
Yeah, it's also, and here's the thing that no one talks about the whole situation, and here's what I don't know.
And they're buying him out, apparently. Apparently they're buying him out. Which,
of course they are.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's got, and the news is they're going back and forth on the non-compete clause, and Triple H has is now suddenly available for every type of interview possible under the fucking sun to do with wrestling, just so he can be like, I'll take the call from him. I'm not saying that it'll work here. I'll take the call. I'll take that call. Hey Tony, I'm gonna fucking hire CM Punk, and then guess what? I'm gonna do. I'm fucking Triple H, and I'm gonna fucking win this fucking war. Yeah.
Why is he so Canadian?
I don't know. I couldn't lend my Triple
Oh yeah,
H.
I'm Triple H. G.
It's
All right, bud, let's fucking go, buddy. I
oh
sucked
fucking
off a little fucking boy.
I
He's also
fucking
a hoser pedophile.
Hoser pedophile. He's back in town.
Oh yeah, I want to talk a bit about do you think CM Punk would ever go back to WWE? Which would be that would
Yes,
be my favorite thing in the world
yes, he
because then
would.
he would be Cuckman Puck. He would be
Here's
cucked by
here's
himself.
how they do it. If they want to make that Cody Rhodes the christening of Cody Rhodes, the most crazy thing ever is you bring
Mhm.
CM Punk in, you have CM Punk win the belt, and you have Cody Rhodes beat CM Punk for the belt, and then CM Punk fucks off. And you whatever amount of money that costs, you know what I'm saying? You bring
He
him in
wouldn't
very
do that. CM Punk is literally like the good Ultimate Warrior. So
I wouldn't say he's the good Ultimate Warrior.
I think he is. I think he's the good Ultimate Warrior because he's just a good wrestler who's a good promo. He
Yeah.
literally is everything the Ultimate Warrior isn't, and vice versa. The Ultimate Warrior has a. I mean, CM Punk. I think CM Punk has a better look than the Ultimate Warrior has wrestling
Disagree.
skills.
Oh yeah, that okay. I didn't know the word you were about to say. I thought you were comparing looks, and I was like, "Excuse me,
No,
sir."
I'm just gonna say like the Warrior and Goldberg are guys who have such fucking sick ass, lit ass fucking titties and
Of course,
asses
flaps,
and
butt cheek,
thighs. Yeah,
nice meaty thighs, of course, and
meaty. Yeah,
tight
fucking.
skin around the kneecap. Um,
Yeah, they don't have like baggy kneecap skin, which is a
mhm.
thing that both exists in real life and in wrestling. But the CM Punk is just like good wrestling Ultimate Warrior. I don't forget where I was going with this, but he also like Ultimate Warrior, like Goldberg. He's like, but I want to win all the time, which is
Yeah,
why if you look up on Cage Match, his winning percentage is actually super fucking high. Like I think he has a bigger winning percentage than John Cena, just because John Cena spent the last couple of years just jobbing to everybody.
it's also that funny thing of like John Cena will go down in history as this like great polarizing figure in wrestling, even though we were just like, he won a lot and we don't like that because he looks like he's popular and we're wrestling fans. And then like CM Punk's like, well, he's our hero. What's that guy do? Well, mostly what he does is just he berates people that make less money than him, and we love it. We love it. We are the wrestling fans.
He was the. I'm trying to find. It's like CM Punk. We've so many analogies to him, but maybe he's so much of a time because it's
CM
like
Punk is if Kurt Cobain didn't kill himself and just got
that's
comfortable with
very
having
funny.
millions of dollars. That's what
That's very
CM Punk is.
very yeah.
It's
CM Punk's like Courtney Love almost, where it's like
exactly.
a time and a place, but then like I think there was this. I read this thing where they talked about how Courtney Love bought a Mercedes and Kurt Cobain flipped out and made her return it.
No, it was a
because,
Lexus.
like,
It was even more ridiculous that he was like if she bought a Lexus. This is such a 90s thing too. For some reason in the 90s like Lexus was considered like someone's a billionaire. They're driving a
no, it
Lexus.
wasn't. But that's not why he did it. Because like, there's like, I don't know, if she would have bought like this huge fucking stupid pink Porsche or something like that, then it would have been this like
Exactly, like we're being
okay,
ridiculous.
yeah, ridiculous. But it was just like a very
It's just a nice car that shows we have some
classy,
money.
nice
Yeah.
car. Yeah, that shows we have a bit of money now. And he was fucking flipped out because he's like, we can't honestly become these people. But you're right. Like Doug Stanhope has that joke about like, oh, it's so sad Jimi Hendrix died and Kurt Cobain. It's like, yeah, is it, or are they? Would Jimi Hendrix would have definitely played a Super Bowl halftime with Britney Spears by now?
Oh, I've said it
Like
before and I'll say it again.
definitely.
We all dodged a bullet with Bill Hicks dying because let me tell you who would have been into
Oh
conspiracy
my
theories.
God, yes.
Oh,
White.
insufferable.
He would have had an album this year called White Erasure.
Oh my God. Yes, exactly. He would have been very pro Russia. Let's hear him out. Let's
Oh
hear
yeah.
him out.
Well, just think about this too. Think about how dope it would have been, artistically speaking, if the Rolling Stones would have died in 1968.
Oh my God.
Fucking plane crash, all dead.
If-
Imagine that legacy, and then nope, 70s, 80s, 90s, all of it just had to happen.
So the Hell's Angels, because Keith Richards saw a guy get murdered at Altamont and almost walked off the
Mm-hmm.
stage, and he didn't because the Hell's Angels saw him start to move to the stage and walked on. And there's supposedly footage of this, and just put a gun in his on his side and just went, "Keep playing, pal." And I
Mm-hmm.
always think, what would have happened if he would have said no and the Hell's Angels just murdered the Rolling Stones in front of that crowd? Do you understand that the Rolling Stones would have been like the Beatles would
Yeah,
never have
they
been
wouldn't have
talked about
existed. Yeah,
again? Like
these guys made 2 great albums, and then they died for what they believed in. Try
John
and top it.
Yeah, John Lennon would be like a weirdo who hangs out at Hot Water Comedy Club in Liverpool. I used to be able to.
No, John Lennon would have. Ooh, this is a fun game. John Lennon also, for sure, yoga will cure COVID. They all like.
Oh boy,
My
yeah.
wife has friends who are. I do some stretching and then COVID will go away. People, and like, I get it. You don't
gotta
want to
tell ya.
believe that you're mortal.
I love COVID deniers.
The
Canadian
yoga COVID people are the
they're the
real bad
best.
ones.
They're the fucking best.
I get QAnon. There's a pedophile. There's a bunch of pedophiles. They fuck kids. That is true.
Yeah.
There are people who fuck kids. It's just like it's like the Clinton Epstein shit. That shit is fucking true. There is no part of yoga that cures cancer.
I remember
There's,
being
like,
told. Let me
they're
just
closer
throw
to
this
the-
out there. I just
Sorry,
want to
go
throw
for
this out there. So when it comes to Epstein, I'm going to show you. A friend of mine, who works in the sailing industry, like knew about that story because he was in the Caribbean, and it's all anyone would talk about because like the Caribbean is just essentially just imagine like rural America or rural Canada. Like the Caribbean is that of North America. It's like the rich people rural place. So there's no one there, and everyone likes to gossip. So when like Bill
I like
Clinton's flown in 3 times, they're like, what the fuck is going on over on this island? Because it's literally like a school bus arrives and then Prince Andrew flies in a helicopter.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I remember this is the part I remember being told the story, and this is the part where I was like, this is unbelievable. Is when they were like, and now the police are looking at him again, and I was like, no, they're not. They're not. If this is real, which it's not,
No.
there's no way that he's getting caught.
He full raped a woman. He full raped a woman, multiple women, full 70s Death Wish movie style rapes, and then no one fucking like. You know what I mean? He's gone. He's in the wind. Fuck. Let's become Clinton. Fucking.
Oh my
let's do
god!
it.
I've thought about the Clinton review.
Dude,
What's the best thing about Roger Clinton? He's dead. Worst thing, he was related to Hillary through marriage.
But like
Lock
this was, I
her
think
up.
he was
Lock her up.
governor. It was when he was running for governor, and it was a volunteer. And they tried her story like 6 different ways in the 90s. And if you are a victim of sexual assault in the 90s, they came to you with a piece of paper that said, first of all, just by being sex, you're a dumb whore. So you have to admit that openly. I think maybe I'm just an adult who, nope.
Yeah.
You have to have a tattoo on your forehead every time someone turns the light off. The word "dumb whore" is going to light up.
Yeah.
Are you okay
The
with
first
that?
thing,
I
first
guess
thing
I
that's
am.
going to happen. First thing's going to happen in this interrogation is we're going to watch the Britney Spears music video "Toxic," and I'm going to point out that's you. That's you. That's you. This was standard operating procedure. If you made a sexual harassment complaint in the 90s, the HR representative was a shirtless man just going, "But you liked it though."
Maybe your tits were bigger, he would have fucked you.
Oh my god.
Anyway, sign this piece of paper that says I don't know. It says a bunch of swear words.
Sign this piece of paper, which is my bill for lunch that you're paying for with your credit card.
Yeah. Equal rights. Here's something I think that's even bigger.
What a segue! What a horrific segue! Go ahead. Go ahead, you
for
monster.
sure banging a bunch of 17-year-olds and
here we go.
16-year-olds when he's a full grandfather. I think that there should be a moratorium and no one should be allowed to use the spear as a finishing move for the next 20 years.
I
It's too much.
completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's too much because they finally figured out that if
Everybody has it.
yeah, I don't care.
The
It
spear
sucks.
jumped the shark in 2008 when Batista started using it. It's like, why is Batista using this?
I also don't understand
He already
why
has a finishing move.
exactly. Batista.
No, I know
already-
why. Because you need a power move that you can do to fucking Tubbos that you can't
But
lift
he-
up. But
but
like,
he
there's no
had that-
Tubbos left.
But he had that with the spine buster. What I never understand about and why the spine buster is such a great move is it's essentially the stunner you can do to tubbies. You know what I mean? Like this is a
It doesn't
bird.
always look really good. I will
Yeah,
say
okay,
that.
yeah, but so does like that's true of all moves. The amount of rock
Yeah.
bottoms that look piss
Mm-hmm.
to like the amount of people that wouldn't get this leg up on a rock bottom always bugged the shit out of me. They'd always do like a can and you know what I mean?
Yeah, just Braun Breaker. Obviously, I was going to talk about NXT Halloween
I'm
Havoc, and
so jacked that I love that you can tell Triple H is back in charge. Let's reference some WCW pay-per-views,
but what
baby.
do you do then? Here's my thing then. Like WWE for how bad it's been. Vince McMahon, full just like no idea where he is except for the fact that he knows
I
he
know where he
is
is.
cheating on his wife
Yeah, I guarantee
for the
Vince
last
McMahon is
15, 20 years, right?
Here's the thing that's crazy. Vince McMahon, I guarantee, is still using the gym at that office building. You know what I mean? Like, I guarantee, I bet you
Still
he,
bigger than Ricochet,
yeah,
babu.
ha, ha, miss. Who do you think this is? Vince, I know it's you. No, it's not me. He always says it's me.
All
It's not,
right,
it's not me.
I'll step down, but the women's washroom, the toilet seats, all have to be my face.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think was his face save move when they were like, "You have to retire"? I know that he was like, "All right, but Stephanie has to hit one of her kids." Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was something
That's so
insane he demanded. He was just like, "But Triple H buys me lunch."
Or just like in my mind, he goes, "Okay, fine," and then he just took all the pens. And
Yes, it's-
Fucking
Yeah.
mine.
yeah. All right, I'll go.
Fuck you.
This is my fucking pen, though.
oh yeah, one pen.
Yeah, he took one. Like that the pettiest, this one comes with me.
Although I think one of the best things to happen in Mankind that could possibly happen is if Vince McMahon they do that big send off and that big what they were going to do the discussion of what they would do at WrestleMania, and then just someone hacks the screen and just shows him on his various denials of rapes that he's made
Yeah,
in the media.
the thing is they're not if they include him in WrestleMania plans, the WWE is so I've said it 1,000 times on various outlets that this program uses. I'm going to say it again. And they are stupid enough to not think about this. There is a federal investigation going on completely because of how badly the SEC has fucked these things up in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very intense about it, especially with someone like Vince McMahon, who is a big Trump donor, where they were like, yeah, we'd like to look at these finances. They cannot publicly have him tied to the company in any way, or investors are going to literally be like, oh, cool. Now we're going to get rid of this whole family. We don't like, it's this weird thing that because I think that no one really understands the like details of financial crimes, Vince McMahon in particular, seeing as how he handled it, I just think that we're just like people are just gonna keep being like, well, I wonder what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so much of wrestling media
I know that. Yeah,
is just based in fantasy booking. And like that's what we all used
such
to do.
an interesting
like,
point. Yeah,
But like
And it's-
1999 when this shit started, I'm old enough to remember when basically it became quasi wrestling mainstream to be like wrestling is fake and here are my ideas of how to make it better, and that's all wrestling and wrestling quote unquote media. Like all the wrestling shoot interview people, all the wrestling podcast or radio shows at the time were all just like they had a thing they had one thing a week, here's what I would do. And then now it's like they have so few sources and it is wrestling, and people want to bullshit and want to just kind of hide what's actually happening so much that of course someone's going to be like, yeah, they're planning something for Vince. I don't know if any of that made sense. I'm just saying, like,
I know what you mean, but it's again that thing of
kind of stuff we think would happen, so we talk about it as if it's going to happen, and it's not.
So the thing that is, by the way, to prove Dylan's point about that was just fantasy booking. I remember PWI did a full issue. Pro Wrestling Industry was just like, we're doing it. What if WWE and WCW did a pay-per-view together?
Yeah,
What would that be like? And it was like, I remember reading it on the schoolyard at like 10 years old, and like 5 kids were like, whoa, are they actually, that were not wrestling fans, but they're like, whoa, are those two companies gonna fight? Like, it was even a thing where people are like, go, 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 go. And then
everyone knew who Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan were.
Exactly.
And that's the craziest thing in wrestling history, is that didn't happen.
You know what I always that it's so crazy that didn't happen? Dad versus stepdad, because that's what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, take your milk, drink your vitamins. I'm gonna go jizz in your mom.
But it's
Where is
like
that? Where's that
there's
dad? Turned out that guy was a prick. Who's this? This guy seems like he's a prick, but give it 20 years and then he'll be all right. He's gonna call Bill's gimmicks, and it's never gonna not be annoying.
just crazy that like they obviously they fucked the fucking alliance angle, the invasion angle, whatever. But just the fact that they had a chance to do the fucking they literally had a chance to be like, all right, let's just pretend the invasion angle didn't happen. Um, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are coming in as the outsiders, or just coming in as the outsiders. Diesel, Razor Ramon, whoever. We're not even aligning them with Hogan. Let's just fucking do Hulkamania again. Like, whatever.
Can I just say one thing about Kevin Nash? And I don't
It's
want to
sad
be.
that his son died.
It is so sad that his son died. It is even sadder, and I don't know, is that I'm too old. I'm not from a place where podcasts are part of legitimate media. So when people announce a death on a podcast, I'm always like, they deserved better, man. You know what I mean?
He's so sad, and he just gets to hear fucking Sean Ross Sapp talk about it while he's chewing.
Yeah.
I don't know Sean Ross Sapp. I don't know what the man looks like. I only know him as a Twitter account. That was just a silly joke, Sean. If you're
Here's the question.
patron.
Here's the question. Does Jim Cornette comment on the death of Kevin Nash's son? And does Jim Cornette do it unsensitively? And now he's got
I hope
now,
not.
now that cunt's got a seventh move crying at his dumb fucking son's death, you fucking cunt. I guarantee
Jim Cornette, I would say, is what I would play Jim Cornette shows for my son if he was like, yeah, I don't think I really want to have kids when he's like in his 30s. I just play a podcast of Jim Cornette screaming about the Young Bucks and be like, you don't want to have kids? That's you. That could be you.
I completely agree.
You could be screaming about something. You could be screaming about which magic cards you don't have when you're 60. When you're 60, buddy.
So, yeah, it's the best.
I'm not saying everyone without kids for their whole life is that. I'm just saying that's a risk you run. Just like if you have kids, the risk you run is you being the guy who's like, I'll tell you why my life's bad. It's not because I'm lazy. It's because I have a kid.
Yeah, that's a classic one. The thing that I will also point out, and I completely agree with Dylan, not in the same way, but I, as someone who has been divorced and had a bunch of bad shit happen in the last 2 years, what that basically is there's people that cannot deal with just basic hard stuff. Do you know what I mean? And
yes.
And Jim Cornette is one of those people. Jim Cornette is like the captain of that team.
Well, Jim Cornette also like, and this is I was going to talk
Jim,
about
I'm just
this.
going to let you. I'm going to let you know your favorite food is still available at this restaurant, but they moved where it is on the menu, which you don't actually need to look at because you just know that you like to order that, so you don't even need to look at the menu. These motherfuckers!
What the fuck? So I can get a grilled cheese, but it's mozzarella and not fucking cheddar? Get the fuck out of this fucking! I'll burn this place to the goddamn ground. I'll take a shit.
I'm gonna take a shit on your fucking shit. I'm gonna burn you down, and then I'm gonna shit on what was your asshole. I'm gonna shit on the ashes that were your asshole. Asshole ashes.
And he's also, remember this, Jim Cornette at the end is a rich guy's kid.
Yeah, his dad owned the Louisville newspaper, which you just know
Yeah.
that Jim Cornette's dad like had a Confederate flag EJ offed to. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, Jimmy, you know what this is? And he holds up the Confederate flag and he's like, no. He's like, this is porn. And
This is the Bible, baby. That you read this every day. Each star means something cool.
Jimmy, it's me, the ghost of your dead dad. Have you fucked a statue of Jefferson Davis yet, Jimmy?
That's the kind of gay that's fine.
As long as it's a statue.
Man on man is bad unless you're sucking off a statue of Robert E. Lee. I made a dick for it.
Yeah, that's right.
You pop this dick on there, and then you fucking fuck it, you suck it, you do whatever you want, boy.
Hello, my name is Randall Cornette. I am the editor-in-chief of the Louisville Standard, and I'm also the inventor of statue sucking. That is where you get the tube from a paper towel, and you affix it to a statue of your favorite Confederate general or hero, and then you suck on that paper tube like it is their girthy, delicious penis.
This is because I was looking this up before the podcast for some reason, but so So it was Ethan Hawke's and Uma Thurman's daughter, and I didn't know that Uma Thurman's, I think, grandfather was a Nazi. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like, of course. This is after, of course, the Adidas thing. Adidas was founded by Nazis, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you gotta look this up. You gotta look up who founded America.
Yeah,
I'm shocked. These guys weren't exactly woke either.
Yeah, to be honest, when people were like, I cannot believe that Adidas was founded by these people, I was like, hey, you guys better not read into anything that Walt Disney was up to, because let me tell you, that guy's like, like,
Oh yeah, that was the other thing I read up on the Kanye stuff, where he, said a bunch of anti-Semitic, and I haven't really read up exactly what he said, but he called Walt Disney a Jew, which was good.
that was really fun. I was like, man, do you know who would be really angry to
Like,
read
what are
that?
you
Walt Disney would be
Walt
like,
Disney just comes up from the grave like, this fucking, just so many slurs.
oh my God. Like, bear in mind, like, Walt Disney was such an anti-Semite, other anti-Semites were like, this guy needs to cool it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Walt, there's supposedly like Walt Disney wanted to like be in on the meetings for like the House on Un-American Activities for Hollywood, and they were like, this guy's a bit too intense. Like, he was like,
Oh, yeah, Henry Ford. That
Like
guy
him-
was super woke.
like, oh, Henry Ford, the wokest. Like, when you think
He didn't
woke,
have a self-published newspaper called basically Jews equal no.
yeah, in no way did Henry Ford have a photo of Hitler on his desk until he died. Who's that? That's a hero of business. Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's my friend.
Yeah, my friend Andy.
Hi. Hello. He's not like my bitch-made son. Hello.
Yeah, that fucking loser's gonna ruin the Mustang. You're gonna ruin it, Henry Jr. Can I just say this? When
Mhm.
everyone do yourself a favor and look into that, like, Henry Ford to Henry Ford Jr. and the Ford Motor
Oh
Company.
God.
Oh my word! And you're just like, who's in charge here? And it's just like, you see that guy just covered in potato salad chasing around the secretaries? Yeah, him. You're like, oh,
Well, yeah, Henry Ford Jr. also is like, he's a very good example of like which I do and a lot of people do now, which is like, oh, he's some fucking rich kid's son. Or it's like, well, I don't know. I think I'd rather just be raised by a guy who worked at a bowling alley than Henry Ford Sr.
yeah. Oh my.
You're little me, and if you're not exactly little me, then I'm going to put you in the glass mines. What are the glass mines? It's just a room filled with glass that you have to walk in barefoot. Don't mind anything. I just want you to hurt.
Yeah. Oh, Henry Ford Jr., you are 6 months old and you don't have a job. You know what that means. I put a knife on your feet. I don't cut you, but I let you know what it feels like to have a knife on your foot.
Yeah, exactly. You have to wear your hockey skates upside down if you don't exactly obey me.
Yeah, this is the thing when people are like, oh, I wish my dad was super rich and then I just got everything handed to you. And it's like, I mean, that's true, but that probably came with the fact that, like, Henry Ford Jr. every night was woken up by a drunk man, just like, Henry, do not be Jewish, Henry. Like,
They're gonna sway you, Henry.
whatever you do, make sure you give press conferences on a boat and you ruin this company. Whatever you do.
And that's the fucking crazy thing about those anti-Semites too, is that Henry Ford Jr. probably wasn't allowed to watch movies as a kid because his dad was like, these are all Jews.
Oh, yeah. Like, and bear in mind how.
Like, you imagine, like, you're like, I hate the Jews. They run the media. So, son, don't look at a screen ever.
Walt Disney, I think it's Walt Disney who's like, because the reason why he hated the Jews is the Jews controlled the union. And he openly was like, where'd you get that information? He was like, I made it up. I just assumed that that's what's happening. And so I hate them. Like, it was one of those things they're like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, it's me, Walt. Like, yeah.
To be fair, that's the same thing where it's like, I don't believe the 19 websites that say the same thing. I believe unlies-truth-business.on.org/UK. That's the website.
As I said, I remember standing on my roof in the middle of COVID and someone said something wild to me about finances. And I was like, where did you read that? And he was like, link on Facebook. And I was like, as soon as the word Facebook is in the like description of where you got the news, we're done. It cannot be a link posted by someone that you remember meeting at the Rivoli in 2010. You know what I mean?
It is fucked that like we have all these options like websites to go to, but really it's the exact same thing as it was when TV first started, where it's like there's essentially 3 companies you go to.
Yeah,
It's like Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and like Gen Z. And this is such an old man thing to say, but like I've heard, and this doesn't check out with my niece, but like people are using TikTok as a search engine, so like Google is even out of the picture for some people.
That's amazing that people are
using TikTok as a search engine because like there's so many. It's kind of like born out of the fact there's so many like recipe accounts and stuff on TikTok that it's like if you, and it is true, it's like either I can like, hey, how do I make black bean soup? I can go to Google and then, you know, have you ever looked up a recipe on Google? It's like, first of all, here's a trip I went on that inspired me to make this shitty fucking soup, and it's like, here's what a black bean is. Like, just get me to the fucking recipe. Versus TikTok, how do you make black bean soup? And it's literally like, here's a fucking 15-second video of someone just making the goddamn soup.
Yeah, fuck you. Time for fucking soup.
Suck my ass in my butthole.
Yeah, suck my ass in my fucking...
But you can see, obviously, and I'm a visual learner too, but you can see, here it is, the thing, instead of reading it and then having to click by a bunch of ads that are like, weirdly poorly personalized to you. Like if you exercise a lot, it would be like, here are some shoes that make you taller, and you're like, I guess I need shoes, but I don't need to be taller. Like, no, you do.
I'm so excited for Elon Musk to buy Twitter. I'm so excited. It's gonna get nuts.
Oh, Twitter Parler 2, when it just becomes Parler 2, that'll be dope.
No, it's so fascinating in that, like, because we've like basically broken down all of the walls, there's no selling out
of Jericho.
Of course, break the walls down.
Oh, Jericho's gonna be dope on Elon Twitter.
Oh my god!
I can finally say what I want.
Oh my god!
Here's the real Judas effect.
Did
January
you
6th was the real 9/11.
Here's the thing that I did not know, but I recently discovered that we need to end. Did you know that people are still trolling Chris Jericho's wife's account, and anytime she posts a photo, there's people underneath that are like, did you pose like this when you went to January 6th, you fucking asshole? And I'm just like, gotta say this about people, wrestling nerds on Twitter. They hold a grudge. And I guarantee that they're still like, I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Because the fucking Painmaker gimmick is bullshit.
Who? What's her fucking name?
I
don't. Chris Jericho's. Oh, I just found some Twitter. Some tweet. Chris Jericho's wife, everybody. Trump won, Biden cheated. Jessica Irvine, sick.
Oh yeah, like it's. I mean, it was so. I have to tell you, everyone.
Hey man, she's not. It's not like she's hiding it. Her literally, her fucking Twitter banner is just her holding a flag that says "Women for Trump," and it's literally just her fucking. Oh yeah, her second last tweet was from an account called End Wokeness.
Oh, she's not hiding it, but who is amazingly at hiding it is, are you ready?
Okay.
Chris Jericho. And then Chris Jericho was like very overt about it, and then quickly was like, all right, let's scale that back a little bit, because I think people are going to cost me my job. You know what I mean? Like it was very close there for a second. Like Donald Trump Jr., like a week after the election, like, holy shit, Chris. And then he just suddenly like, nope, not talking about that. Jericho Appreciation Society.
This is nuts, man. Like, I'm just looking at her Twitter, and
it's nuts, right?
Here's one of the things she tweeted. I don't know anything about this. Dylan Mulvaney is not trans. He's literally a trained actor who's found a way to get attention. His Day X of Being a Girl series is a never-ending list of heavily caricatured jokes about sex stereotypes. This is not a serious person with gender dysmorphia.
I'm gonna say this right now that you cannot.
Just a bunch of retweeting Candace Owens.
Oh
it's
no!
Like all of them. It's all of them, dude.
Oh yeah, baby.
It's crazy.
Do you ever think that she's just like, why don't people work hard like you, Chris? And he's just like rubbing oil on his weird body. And he's like, hey, yeah, let me put on some of the music I've made, and then we can have sex. And she's like, I'd like that. You know what I mean? Like that's like, it's just, imagine being their middle child, not the eldest, the second one. We're just looking at like, wait, he's like my dad, and then he's just getting a fucking full blowout, and then being like, yo, put on that other Halloween album.
That's fucked. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, one of the last things she tweeted, just a picture of Nancy Pelosi that says "wanted" for causing January 6th. And like the right, and like it's so fucking crazy whenever you see someone who's too far one way or the other. Like
Yeah,
her,
that's a great point.
her one of her things is good on this little girl for her protecting herself against Joe Biden's advances, and it's literally like a little kid who just doesn't want to be touched, and then Biden tries to do the coochie coo thing, and the girl goes like this, like a little kid just being like, "Man, I'm angry no matter what," and they're like, "Joe Biden was trying to finger that little girl." It's like, no, man, he's just an old man. Like, I don't know, man.
What I do like, what I really enjoy, and then we will end this because we've really blown past our timelines, is what we've all forgotten because Trump engaged in all of that. You know what I mean? Like in the end, you'd be like, Trump tried to fuck this little girl, and he'd be like, I've never fucked a little girl. Let me tell you who fucks little girls. That Bill Clinton. And then it'd be like, also the deficits for fucking losers and fuck China. And like Joe Biden just doesn't react. Like they're like, Joe Biden's trying to fuck kids, and like you're like a classic old man. He's just like, huh? Nah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I had never really seen. Also, it's crazy. Chris Jericho has so many whatever, and he tags his wife and stuff. He has so many like followers, and he tags his wife and stuff, and she still only has like less than 900 followers. And it's not. She doesn't have a protected account. It's just like people don't want to hear what she's saying.
Yeah, the thing is, what everyone has actually come to realize is there's actually a very small amount of people on those extremes, and everyone's kind of like, can we just like go back to work? Like I just like this is boring. And also like Chris Jericho, like you weren't.
No one has any money, and inflation's fucked. So it's like, these people are still gonna keep on going.
But the thing that I always come back to with Chris Jericho and his sort of level of wrestling celebrity is it's like, Chris, much like Triple H, you're here. You're not here. You're here. Stop acting like you're here. You know what I mean? You're not. He will be remembered as a legend of wrestling. He is not the legend of wrestling. Here's what no one has ever said. Oh, you like pro wrestling? Is that Chris Jericho thing? You know what I mean?
I think in the long run of things, if you want to get down to it, which is bizarre, it's like Jericho really is pretty much Mr. Perfect. It's just they had way more titles now, and he's way more like, I think he's way more creative than Kurt Hennig was. But he's like this. He's this weird thing where he's just below all time. If you put an all-time Fed together, he's like one of the guys in the mix, but never really quite
He's this
there.
era's Tito Santana. He's in the mix. You're excited to see him, but you're like, it'd be weird if he had like 4 title reigns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where you put Jericho all time, because he just kind of does seem like he has this cap of like, I've never. Maybe the Jericho Michaels feud was the best, but it's like, he's always doing like new and entertaining things.
Oh,
they're always like mid-card things.
He's an incredibly versatile and amazing performer. Let's not be crazy about that. Just that said, you're still like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And on that rousing note, that's fucking it. Fuck shit balls.
Ladies and gentlemen.
When will this be out?
Whenever
we already have our Tajiri episode. This will be out November 1st. Why not? November 1st.
Ooh, a little post-Halloween. You guys have all you guys went trick-or-treating even though you're a full adult? And when people are like, are you
even though we're all to a person balding, even the women.
Yeah, that's right. Dylan, are you going to take your child trick-or-treating?
What kind of question is that? Of course I am not. Fuck no.
Imagine that. I you know what's crazy is I know people
Here's a candy bar. Give him whey powder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Trick or treat. He chooses trick.
Here's a trick, and then I just fucking hold him up for money.
Yeah. Here's a trick.
Pistol whipped.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done to CM Punk. That's what I yell at people. That's what I would have done to Phil.
Time to learn discipline.
I'm gonna be one of those guys who call wrestler by their real names.
Oh wow. That's very intense.
Hi, Chris Irvine.
Whoa. I think it's Irving, by the way.
No, it's Irvine.
Was it?
Yeah, Irvine.
I'm sure his dad was Irving.
Definitely Irvine.
Well, I believe you. You're more into hockey than me. Whoa.
Fuck you. Fuck
Doing the-
my ass. Suck my balls, and then my ass. Thank you guys so much for listening. I've been Dylan God. That's been Dylan God again.
I am also Dylan God. Only follow
Yeah.
Dylan God on Twitter at Dylan God.
Ooh,
how do you
spread
s-
them and suck that doorknob with your butthole, guys. Bye.
Whoa, the doorknob.